There are so many regrets that I have in life, but the one that stands out the most is when
oh 12, that was Candace. Calm with complexion, body like heaven, and she was a dancer. Capricorn or Aquarius, but she remind me of a Cancer. She called, I would answer. Late night phone session with the camera. She tryna make a movie on the plasma. She moving like a pro, no amateur. Sex, drive, got stamina. She would ask, could I handle her? Then I'm a damager. You in need of a manager.
Hey Rose Petals and Rose Fellas, it is Candace Rose and welcome back to my channel. I am your host, Candace Rose, the Candace Rose to be exact. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and let's jump right into this video. We're all human, and as humans, we all have regrets. Feeling like you haven't done enough in life, dating or entertaining someone that you had no business dating or entertaining for a long period of time, especially when the red flags were waving.
The summer?
Summer was great. Paris was amazing.
Did you meet Fiona?
I met Fiona. She was unbelievable. She sent us to Coco Chanel's apartment. We got to see that, so it was pretty amazing.
Well, that was a great choice of yours to make, to go to Paris. Lauren didn't go to Paris. She's going to always be known as the girl who didn't go to Paris. Do you regret that decision? How was your summer at the beach with your boyfriend? Did that work out for you?
I have a lot of regrets in life, but the one that stands out the most is me getting cosmetic surgery. I honestly thought that me getting cosmetic surgery was going to boost my confidence, but it did the complete opposite. And to be quite honest with y'all, my confidence is even lower than it was before I even got the surgery. I'm gonna be breaking everything down as to why I regret the surgery so bad. The first thing is, why did I do it? I did it strictly to boost up my confidence. I had lost a substantial amount of weight and I wanted to further my confidence. I was very happy. I was very, very happy of my progress. I was happy with my results and I was proud of myself. So I felt like I really wanted to up the confidence level. I did not do this for no man. I did not do it for the attention of a man. I did not do it to get a man. I did not do it for any men in my past to try to spin the block. I was a little bit influenced, but I was influenced by like social media. I was influenced by my peers and people that were around me that I saw that they got their bodies done and they looked absolutely amazing. And not even amazing on the sense of them getting attention from other people, but just how they looked, how they walked, how they talked, how they carried themselves. And I wanted that same thing. I'm not going to say that my confidence was low, but I just wanted to boost my confidence. I wanted to heighten it. I honestly felt like when you look good physically, when you are in shape and your body is right, then you'll be able to walk through doors that people who are the opposite of that don't walk through. Because when, say for instance, if you are in a more any setting, a professional setting, a social setting, or anything, when people look at your body and they look at you being fit or you being in shape, that gives off a sense of this person is consistent, they show up for themselves, so they'll show up for this job, or that they take pride on how they look, so they will take pride in the job that I give them. So the reason why I got it done is because I strictly did it for me. I wanted to boost up my confidence and I wanted to kind of reward myself for losing and putting in all the hard work and getting the excess weight up off of me. So making the decision to go through with cosmetic surgery was easy because my mind was already made up, but finding an actual surgeon was difficult because this was a whole nother realm, a whole nother spectrum that I am not used to, and this is something that I've never done before. Also, I wanted to get the surgery done as quickly as possible because at that time, the lipo BBL epidemic was at an all-time high. So I kind of wanted to be a part of that, but I didn't want people to know that I had it. So I didn't want to look like an IG model. I didn't want to look like an OF model. If I wanted to look like any type of model, I wanted to look like a fitness model. I wanted to look like I had been working out, in which I was, but I wanted to look thick fit because let's face it, how my frame is, I don't think I can be slim fit, but like a thick fit girl. Like I wanted to be in that category. Finding a surgeon was also difficult for me because I wanted to get it done so quickly. I had went through 2 surgeons before I found the surgeon that I actually went with. So let me just elaborate a little bit more on the surgery and how things went. So when I got my surgery done, when I finally found my surgeon, I went through Dr. Chang at Spectrum Aesthetics, and I really should have paid close attention to his work. Don't get me wrong, his work was good, but I feel like, to me, he only specializes in skinny BBLs. I feel like with girls of my stature and girls of my frame, he does not do really well with thicker girls. And regardless of how much weight I lose, I'm going to be thick. I've always had a thicker frame. I always had thighs, always had hips, always had a butt. I'm not saying that I had a huge butt, but I had a little something back there. And I feel like I should have dug a little bit deeper and I should have held off a little bit longer. I definitely should have held off a little bit longer to try to find somebody that more so fit my needs. Now on the medical side, Dr. Chang was amazing. Like he was very thorough and he was efficient. And that's what I did like about him. On the medical side, he was great. But on the cosmetic side, I felt like I should have just went with somebody who would fit my needs a little bit better. Even though pre-op, I really didn't feel too comfortable. I think it was just all of my nerves and then just the whole atmosphere and the setting. It was super packed in there. Me personally working in a doctor's office, not so much of a surgery clinic, how fast paced that it could be. And I know that the staff there just want to get the patients in and out as fast as possible. But it was so packed in there and I just felt like I wasn't really seen too much, but yet at the same time, I didn't advocate for myself either. It was trying to get people in and out and it was so packed in there. It felt like a Smith Morrison clinic. I'm not gonna lie. It was a whole bunch of females in there filling out paperwork. People were standing, people were sitting, the girls were all over the place. I just felt a little bit uncomfortable as far as that. When the surgery date actually came, because in my pre-op, I had high blood pressure. My blood pressure kept running high. And I think that was something that was common because they ended up giving me blood pressure medicine the night before so that I can bring my blood pressure down. So the day of the surgery, my blood pressure did come down drastically. It was still slightly high, but it wasn't as bad. The surgeon was extremely thorough. He was very thorough, and he noticed that I had scoliosis, and this is something that I left off of my paperwork when they asked if you have any disorders or conditions that we need to know about. I've had scoliosis ever since I was 5 years old, so I don't even think about it, but he did notice it, and he, did my surgery according to that. One thing I did not like about Chang is that he didn't even ask me for a wish pick. I was under the assumption that these surgeons ask for a wish pick and they just go, they judge your surgery based off of the wish pick. Now that's not to say that you're gonna turn out looking like that wish pick, because that's all up to your recovery. But he even asked for a wish pick. His biggest thing was just make sure you eat right, you exercise when it's time to exercise, you stay off of your butt, and you wear your garments and get your massages. So as far as like the surgery clinic itself, it wasn't bad. I should have advocated for myself more. I should have spoke up. And me just being new to the cosmetic surgery scene, I didn't know what questions to ask, and it was a lot of things that I didn't know about. Like, I didn't know about a revision. I didn't know that I could get a revision. I had no idea about none of these things until way after, when it was kind of too late. The surgery itself went great. There were no complications. I had no complications, and obviously I made it out alive. The recovery is when I realized I made a huge mistake, and I regret this so much. So let's talk about the pain. The pain was excruciating. There was not a time that I was not in pain. Those massages hurt so freaking bad. That was the worst. They hurt so bad, but at the same time, they felt good, because the goal of the massages is to get all the drainage out. It's to get all the fluid out and to get the blood circulating so that you won't get what is it called, like fibroids or whatever. Is that what it's called? I don't remember, because I have been so far out of the surgery world. I don't know. My mobility was okay. I was able to get around with no problem. I was able to get around with ease. Now, one thing that I did have a little bit of a hiccup with is sitting on my butt and going to sleep at night. Me personally, I am a side sleeper. Sometimes I sleep on my back, but for the most part, I am a side sleeper. I cannot sleep on my side at all. So the mobility really wasn't a problem. It was just more so of getting out of the bed and sitting on my butt. So let's talk about drains and fajas. So the drains, I didn't have drains. I did not have to have drains. I didn't have any tubing or anything like that because I had lipo. I didn't get like a tummy tuck or anything like that. The fajas were, it was cool. I got used to the fajas fairly quickly. At first, wearing them things, putting them on and taking them off, it was difficult putting them back on. But taking them off, it was very, very easy. And then after a while, I was able to put my fajas on by myself. I didn't wear no boards or anything like that. I should have wore boards, and I should have wore them fajas a whole lot longer than I did. Those fajas and the shapewear, all of the shapewear, all of the boards, all of the body sculpting massages, all of that is a big part of your results. I stopped wearing them fajas maybe like three or 4 months after my surgery, when I should have wore them longer. But those fajas were mad expensive. I was working in a horrible job environment at that time, and I had made up in my mind, like, once I go for this surgery, I'm not coming back. I ain't coming back to this place. And that was a huge mistake. I should have carried my ass back to work. I should have just got my FMLA just extended longer, because my FMLA was only for a month. I should have got it extended longer to another 30 days, but I should have carried my ass back to work. But I had made up in my mind that I was not going to go back to work. One of the biggest mistakes in my life. Everything went downhill from there. This is a topic that a lot of these influencers and these YouTube girls and these IG girls do not talk about. And that is the emotional recovery and the loneliness that you go through. I had my surgery at April the 9th of 2021. And I had it in the springtime. It's the worst time to have surgery is in the spring or in the summer. You want to have your surgery when it gets cold out, because ain't nobody outside at that time. I could not be out in the sun. Even though I had my surgery out in Miami, I could not be out in the sun too long. I could not be out in water. I love Miami, and I loved spending time with my cousin, being around her. She made it as comfortable as it would. Like, she's just fun anyway. But I couldn't really do nothing. I was so limited on doing anything. When I had came back to Ohio, y'all, when I tell you, depressing. So depressing. I just felt like I was just kind of like by myself, because while everybody was out doing their own thing, I couldn't really do anything that first couple of months because I had to stay in the house. I was just tired. I was tired of always being in pain. I was tired of sleeping on my stomach. I was tired of my arms hurting from having to push myself up. I was tired of not having to sit on my butt. I was tired of wearing them doggone fajas. I was so tired. And then on top of that, it's hot. It was hot. It was sunny most of the time. We really didn't have no rainy days that year. And everybody was out having a good old time. And I had to sit my ass in that house and recover. Then just thinking about, like, what did I do to myself? Am I going to look right? Am I going to be perceived different? Am I going to get the wrong type of attention? That is just, these are all the things that run through your mind after surgery when you are recovering. Well, I know that's what through my mind. And the expectations and the reality. Y'all, what I expected to look like is not how I actually look like. I freaking hate my results so much. I don't like my results physically, and I don't like my results mentally. I thought getting cosmetic surgery was going to boost up my confidence. I was just going to walk out with my shoulders back and my head held high and everything. And that is absolutely not the case. I am so self-conscious about my body. I hate going into big crowds, especially big crowds with a lot of men in it, because I just feel like all eyes is on me, all eyes is on my butt. A lot of times I get the god damn, I get all of that because my butt is so big. My expectations, I did have a wish pick. I wanted to look like Ace Hood's wife. Her body was so freaking T, and I wanted to come close to how she looked. Now, our body structures are very different. She has a longer torso than I do. My torso is a little bit shorter, but for the most part, like the shape, I wanted to have that same shape but on a shorter torso. Now, I do have to take a lot of accountability because I should have wore my fajas longer. I should have wore boards and my fajas, and I should have gotten body sculpting massages after all the drainage massages were over with. But I'm gonna be honest with y'all, because I was not working and I made the conscious decision to quit my job, I ran out of money. I ended up running out of money, and I could not afford to get any more massages. I could not afford to get any more fajas. I was just so done with it. I ran out of the BBL budget. Yeah. So when it was time to go back to reality, so I had money already saved up and put up to go back to reality. So I had money saved up for my bills, my rent, because I still had my apartment. I had money saved up for that. But as far as the BBL budget, I ran out of money. I refused to tap into my everyday living expenses for my BBL budget. I just was not doing that. So once I ran out of the BBL budget, it was over with. It was no more massages, no more fajas, no nothing. So I resorted to having family members massage me. So my expectations suffered from it. How I look now, I hate how I fucking look. I look like I birthed 2 kids. Thank God for that spiritual fast that I did, because when everything was all said and done, I was 235 pounds. That was the biggest that I've ever been. Before surgery, before my keto journey, I was only 215, 217 pounds. That was the biggest that I've ever been. But to get on the scale and that scale says 235 pounds, I was spent. And to be 235 pounds with a BBL is crazy because my butt gets even bigger. I hate my results. I don't like how I look. This is the biggest that I've ever been. This is the widest I've ever been. And I just don't feel good about myself at all. This is the lowest that my confidence has ever been. So when a lot of people ask me, Ken, how come you don't never go outside? How come you don't never go nowhere? How come you don't never go nowhere? How come you don't want to do nothing? Why? Where you been at? It's because I hate how I look. And then if I don't feel confident on how I look, then I'm not going to feel confident in my clothes. And I'm not going to want to go outside. I'm not going to want to go nowhere. So I heavily regret getting the surgery. The regret of this surgery really has taken a mental toll on me so much. I came out of so much time, so many emotions, so much stress, so much money, all to look like I never had surgery in the first place. If it wasn't for that spiritual fast and me obeying God, I wouldn't have lost 20 pounds. Before the spiritual fast, I kept gaining and losing the same 10 pounds. Everybody has a BBL. And now it's just like, I am one of those girls. And I just want to undo everything. And like I said, back then, that was a huge thing. That was on trend. Now in 2026, the BBL phase, the BBL trend is over with. Everybody want to be 90s skinny again. And I'm one of them girls that kind of want to be 90s skinny. Like, I want to just go back and undo all of this stuff. After I got my surgery and I was wearing my fajas, I feel like the fajas was lifting my breasts. So people thought that I got my boobs done too. So everybody was like, did you get your boobs done? I don't want to have big old boobs. Like, I don't want to walk around with big titties. Like, I don't. Like I said, 90s skinny is the new thing. Everybody they wasn't flat chested, but they had like small chest, small waist, little butt. Everybody was just little back then. Being 90 small is on trend right now, and that's where I want to be. If I was not so consumed by the social norm at that time, I would have really just thought about what I was doing, and I would have probably reconsidered. Don't get me wrong, I am not judging anybody who gets surgery, who is in the process of getting surgery, or who has had surgery in the past. This is just an experience that I had, and I feel like I should have done things differently. I probably would have gotten lipo, a little bit of lipo, but I definitely wouldn't have got a BBL. And if I could rewind back time, and if I could do everything all over again, I had made a video way before I had got my surgery done, and I think it was the I'm insecure as fuck video, and I said that I wanted to do everything. Like, I wanted to get my teeth fixed, I wanted to get my body done, I wanted to get a little bit of Botox, all of that stuff. I didn't want to walk around looking like a Barbie doll. I didn't want to walk around looking like a bicycle seat or a fish, but I just wanted to look refreshed. I wanted to look fit. I wanted to look right. I wanted to look tight. I wanted to knock a couple years off of me. You know what I'm saying? But if I could go back and do everything all over again, I probably would have got my teeth done first. I probably would have gotten braces. I would have definitely looked into getting braces and started there. I just felt like me getting my lipo BBL, that was just all one cost, and that was one thing that I can pay for, get it out of the way, and then we can work on the whole braces thing. Because you know, with braces are a lot more expensive, and you have a monthly payment. With lipo BBL or getting a cosmetic surgery of any kind, it's one flat fee. You pay that fee, and then you go on about your business, unless you have like care credit. So if you have care credit, then that's a whole totally different realm. Then you have to make payments. Me, I didn't qualify for care credit. I paid with straight cash, one payment. That was it. I would do the teeth first, and in the process of doing the teeth, I will work on the body. I will continuously work on the body and see if getting lipo BBL would have been a thing for me. If this is something that y'all want to do, please make sure you double and triple check with your research, with your surgeons, with your doctors. Make sure that you have the budget to do it. Make sure that you can transition back from surgery reality into real reality unscathed, and you're able to pay all your bills, and you're still able to take care of yourself. I'm about to undo all this shit. So I already got the kickstart with that spiritual fast when I lost 20 pounds. Like I said, I went from 235 pounds, the biggest that I've ever been. I was a fucking beluga whale, and I'm down to 215 pounds. So now I'm not a beluga whale. Now I'm just like a regular whale. I am in the process of losing weight the natural way, eating right and exercising. Now, I haven't exercised in 2 weeks, but y'all don't judge me. I had a lot of stuff going on. I just have to take accountability in my own actions and then in my own life. Like, I have to have a lot of willpower. So meal prepping, and even on the social end, try not to drink as much. As far as like the alcohol is concerned, I'm going to try to do alcohol alternatives, and I'm gonna see how that works out. make sure that I'm dieting, I'm exercising, I'm meal prepping, I'm trying to get as much sleep as possible, and I'm just trying to lose the weight naturally. Now, I might do a GLP-1. I am a woman in my 40s. The weight comes off a little bit slower. It ain't coming off as fast as it did in my 30s and in my 20s. I am going to get another round of surgery, but it's just going to undo everything that I got going on. Don't like it. Highly, highly regret it. And I'm not judging anybody that is going to go through this journey as I did. Just make sure that you do your research. Make sure that you have the funds, and make sure that the surgeon that you pick fits your needs. All right, y'all, that's all I got. I ain't got no more. That's it. I'm so glad I got that up off of my chest. That is the end of this video. And thank y'all too, by the way, because my views have really went up on that last video. I'm not saying it's thousands and thousands of views, but I'm saying that is a lot of views that I got on a sit down video that I have had in a very long time. So thank y'all so much. I love y'all so much. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all in my next video.